And there's live stuff. You can see it. It's crazy.
Right.
You're leaving a message.
I'm updating my Geeky Week. Like any good co-host, doing it 2 minutes before it's time to talk.
Need to add something,
Let me break
but
this
I'll
tab
remember it.
out
I'll
over
remember it.
here. I did find a news story.
Oh, very nice.
Flynn found me a news story, but that was days ago. I did look for a news story.
It was just.
That was just yesterday? Wow.
Geranimus is in the chat. Hello, Geranimus.
Yeah, people.
Geranosaurus Rex. He says, well, hello. I'm assuming in a perfect, much like mine, Ms. Doubtfire.
And something's new. He says that's a new one.
Geranosaurus Rex? Really?
That should have a long time ago been.
Yeah. Geranimus Prime.
Yeah, see, even better. No, yeah, Rex is new to him.
So is Geranimus Prime. What do you normally hear then? Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark. Oh, hi, Mark.
What was I looking for on my phone? Oh, I remember.
J-Rad. Jrad.
He's in there. Oh my God.
Jrad Depardieu.
We've got quite a geeky suite. I'm like, whoa, it's gonna take a while to read all this.
Yeah, I know. I actually watched a bunch
of
geeky
stuff.
Didn't necessarily do a bunch of geeky stuff, but I watched a bunch of geeky stuff.
Well, I mean, that's all I ever do is watch anything.
You're doing geeky stuff. I mean, that's the definition.
True.
Consuming geeky media.
Consomme.
So many good shows are about to come back on too. I'm so excited. The Bear, it's coming back on soon.
Oh, I know. I hope they drop the entire season so I can binge it in one evening.
They say they're going to. They said they did, yeah. Like all episodes drop.
Good.
June 27th.
I didn't know I needed a restaurant drama in my life, but apparently I needed a restaurant drama.
Me too.
I just watch Waiting over and over again.
Right?
That's a restaurant comedy.
Yeah.
And some drama worked in there too.
Yes, Mark, we're gonna mention that. Oh.
First thing you have to ask yourself if you want to work here is, how comfortable are you?
With full
frontal male nudity?
God, is that what you'd say if you met Ryan Reynolds in real life?
No, I'd
like,
say I don't
go straight for a waiting joke.
Show him the Batwing.
Or like that's the thing. If you were set to interview him, you'd have to have it set and ready to go. So when he walked in the room, you hit him with it. I bet he would laugh his freaking ass off at that.
That's how we'd find out if he's really as magnanimous as he seems to be in interviews.
Or how much he enjoys his security detail.
Yeah.
He is one of those celebrities that I do kind of feel like I know who, because I mean, and Welcome to Wrexham, like, you know, that's really like just him and Rob hanging out. They're not like playing a character.
Ryan Reynolds is one of those dudes that I would not want to meet in person because I don't want to be wrong about the image that he has. You know,
I don't think you could be though. I think he's just that guy.
So hold that thought. I am consuming a homemade margarita Sprite Zero soda for the show, says Jay Radimus.
Alrighty.
Wait, margarita Sprite Zero?
With the rest of us.
Zero soda is what it says. I don't know what to think of that. I don't know how to react to that.
Rosposado tequila is what he's got in it. some Grand Marnier, and Sprite Zero.
There you go.
And some lime
Got to
juice.
be
Try it
healthy.
with regular Sprite, maybe.
You got to be healthy. If you're gonna drink alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
it's a diet soda.
Right.
You-
Let your sugars come from the alcohol and not the sugars.
Have you guys tried that Starry soda? It just like came
The
out of
thing that
nowhere.
It used to be Slice.
Oh, is that
I
what
thought
it?
it was Sierra Mist.
Oh, it was Sierra Mist. They had to change the name of Sierra Mist.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Because I like it.
Good for you.
I don't know if they changed the formula or not, but it used to be Sierra Mist.
I don't know, but man, I love that stuff. It's good.
Cool. I'm happy you're happy.
Mm.
How about you make us all happy and push the button?
Push what button?
Push the button.
Uh,
You just want music? You don't want any kind of intro?
Wait,
No, I
that's
guess you push the button that is your mouth
Colbert.
first, and then you push the other button.
Well, if it involves me. Hey! Next stop is vacation. GRD SWeekly! Woo! For some of us.
For
I'm not,
half
saying,
of us.
I'm not saying everyone's going on vacation, but if you were really, really, really cool, you'd be going on vacation. That's all I'm saying. Hi, everybody. Welcome to GRD SWeekly episode.
315?
16.
And those are the wrong guesses of the day.
316.
So, there you go. Thank you, someone that knows it. The folks bringing things to you today, the lady that knows how to sum it up perfectly, that there's the Flintstress.
So far, we've got everything more or less under control. We should be okay for now. As long as nothing else goes wrong.
Yeah, you never. The lady who likes to adapt to things, that there's Carol the cat.
We might need to get some more twine. Being a detective is much messier than it ever looked on Scooby-Doo.
And the man that likes to go straight to the top, that there's podcast Dread Siegfried.
Excuse me. I'd like to speak to whoever's in charge, please.
And I'm the guy that has the good advice. I'm the wonderful Billy Flynn.
That's how you handle it, son. Never give him an inch. Maintain discipline at all times. Remember that word. Discipline.
Discipline. What happened, Joe?
Wow, lots of stuff. I'm gonna start with a fun. Wait, did we talk about Madam Web last time? We did talk about that last time, right?
Did we?
Anyway,
Did we?
we
He was
watched
in
Madam
the
Web.
Amazon with my mother before she died while she was studying spiders.
That movie was. Whoo.
Okay. It's not a great movie, but it does not deserve nearly the hate that it got. I had a fun time with it.
It was.
They spent the whole budget on her driving a ambulance through a billboard and landing on the bad guy. Oh, spoiler alert!
I
Sorry.
want the sequel.
I don't know. I don't remember if that killed him or not, though, because he was very, very hard to kill.
I want the sequel just to get the characters in costume during the movie and not as flash forwards for what might eventually happen.
Well, I'm sure they're working on that after Morbius too.
Yeah. Mhm.
You know.
And Dakota Johnson just kind of she was like, okay, yeah, I'm in this movie. I think she likes playing things where she can be kind of a jerk, just a little bit of an a-hole, just a little bit. It's always
Just a
more
little
fun.
bit. Just a little bit.
She has this really funny SNL sketch where her and some of the writers are teasing each other about being nepo babies, and it's like they're roasting each other. It goes pretty dark, but it's pretty funny. So yeah, that was that. A couple new episodes of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
The first one.
Mm.
Go ahead.
No, hey now.
Yeah, right. The first one being Rogue, which is
Jonathan Groff was fantastic while she's frozen.
Oh my God. Did she actually freeze?
Yeah, well, she's just thinking of Jonathan Groff and
Just.
I guess
got
that'll happen.
Yep.
Judy Godwin
He's almost there.
smooching, and I mean, she's just
Dr.
locked
Isaac
up
Lovett.
thinking about it.
I know, right? People lost their minds for that
Yeah.
episode, but I'm like, wow.
And now she's gone.
Right.
She's completely gone.
She'll be
Do
back.
you want me to do my geeky sweep while she's gone?
Yeah, why don't you jump in?
Sure,
I'll jump
yeah.
in. So I became another year older, so I made it around the sun in another year.
Yay, her parents had sex. What?
Lots of times. I have 7 brothers and sisters. We don't need to talk about that.
Yeah.
So movie-wise, I saw the TV Glow, which is a new horror movie from A24. It is it's it's a very slow burn. The payoff isn't quite enough for the slowness of the burn, but I liked it enough to kind of recommend it. This director also did Let's All Go to the World's Fair. She has a very, very
World's Fair.
yeah, she has a very, very interesting style. This movie is less horror than a lot of things. Oh, she's back.
Hey,
You wanna
wow.
take back over your Sweek?
No, why don't you just keep going for
Okay.
it now, and then when you're done, I'll finish.
I'll do it again. I'll go twice. Yeah.
So I liked it, but not as much as I had hoped to. And then I was watching Gosford Park again because that's like one of my favorite movies of all time. And the algorithm recommended a documentary called Tea with the Dames to me, which is Judi Dench, Maggie Smith.
Oh my God, no, she froze. You're kidding me.
All right, so my geeky sweek.
What the hell is going on?
Is
Oh wait, were you just
Are we
joshing us
back?
the whole time?
Are we
didn't
back?
go anywhere. You're back, but we
Okay.
didn't go
Yeah.
anywhere.
Oh my God. Everybody's going away. I'm the one going away. Okay, so Tea with the Dames is Judi Dench, Maggie Smith, Eileen Atkins, and Joan Plowright. Basically, they get together at Joan Plowright's cottage and have a weekend tea, and a documentary film crew filmed it in 2018.
Okay.
It's a bunch of old British ladies, gossiping.
Okay.
And it's actually kind of fun. I love Maggie Smith and I love Judi Dench. Joan Plowright used to be married to Laurence Olivier, and they rag on him quite a bit. So
This is the kind of good reality TV show that we should have
Yes.
been getting over the years.
Yes, absolutely. I could watch an entire reality TV show with those four, although I know Plowright's not doing so well. So, but that was rather pleasant. It starts off a bit slow because they don't quite know what to do with the documentary film crew, but once they get situated and comfortable, it's very funny. Then I watched the remake of Fame for refried scenes. It was terrible, and I don't remember any of their names.
They don't go watch Rocky.
I don't remember any of their names, so they did not achieve fame.
She, Wesley, I have no idea.
Gosh, it's
Franklin, Gertrude.
quite frankly, most everybody forgot that Fame was remade in 2009. It was, and that was a movie that I watched. And then I've been trying to watch some older movies, some classic movies that I just haven't sat down and watched. So I started with the 1970s and I watched The French Connection, which was good. It was good. It's a 1970s police drama.
Okay. Get ready for this, right? So, they made French Connection too.
Uh-huh.
But do you know in about 1986, they did a TV movie that was supposed to be a series. It didn't get picked up, so it was just a TV movie called Popeye Doyle.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Do you remember who played
Oh
him?
God, I can't remember who played
Kevin Spacey.
Ed
Oh,
O'Neill.
God.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
God. I remember the name.
Al Bundy is Gene Hackman in.
And French Connection's fine. It's a good movie. I can't see myself ever watching it again. Except I think young Gene Hackman is hot.
Okay.
Oh, she's messaging us. And then I continued the 1970s trend and watched Chinatown. I had never seen that before. Generally, I avoided it because it's a Roman Polanski film, and I don't do Roman Polanski films because he's an asshole.
Yeah.
And you're too old for him.
Way too old for him. Way too old for him. But I decided to give this one a go. I liked it better than The French Connection. It's good.
Yeah.
But it's a pity that he's such a good director, and I just I don't want to watch his movies because,
Now, when you want to get weird, then you watch the sequel.
no, the Two Jakes, I have no interest in that at all.
That, oddly enough, Screen Geeks, I inspired an episode for them. We did something called Odd Sequels, to which I thought that the Two Jakes belonged in because, yes, I think it's kind of weird. I also did an in-depth review of Inspector Clouseau, the non-Peter Sellers Inspector Clouseau movie.
It was supposed to be a trilogy. The French Chinatown, the Two Jakes, and then another one. I can't
Yeah, there was
remember
supposed to be another one, and everyone was kind of like, yeah,
I read I know a bunch of backs behind the camera crap from Chinatown, because I know Faye Dunaway and Roma Polanski hated each other. And it's rumored that he kept her in the car for one scene and she needed to use the restroom and he refused to let her leave set. So she peed in a cup and then threw it at him.
Wow.
Allegedly.
But probably.
Now, see, I want to know what kind
Probably.
of cup. I want to know how good, because like, what's her aim and stuff like? Because, if you only had like a little Dixie cup and she did that, I'm impressed. I'm quite impressed.
TV wise, House of the Dragon started its second season, and I watched the first episode.
Watched the first episode.
Really good. Well, it's the only episode out right now. Really good. I do have one little quibble.
Yes.
At the very end, with Blood and Cheese. I love how, Martin writes these horrific tales and then gives them kitschy names like Blood and Cheese. I didn't need the sound.
Of the blood or the cheese?
of the dying.
Oh.
You don't see anything, but you hear it. And I thought, I know what's going on there. And it involves a child, and I don't need to hear that. I thought it was kind of distasteful.
Yeah, kids eating cheese is just nasty.
Yeah. I know, it's gross. Not enough for me to stop watching the show, though.
Like they're eating American cheese. What the hell, children?
What is that doing in Westeros? And then Terry was talking about Doctor Who. I have caught up on Doctor Who. I liked Rogue.
Rogue was very fun.
Rogue was fun. The Tale of Ruby Sunday. Is it the Tale of Ruby Sunday?
The Legend
of Ruby Sunday.
Legend of Ruby Sunday. I liked it a little bit better. So.
And God, do I feel like a jerk for missing it? All the clues they've given us all flipping season. It's in the opening credits, for the love of God. You can see something. You can see that something's there around the turn. You can see tendrils coming off the tarn. How did I miss this?
Because it was a new Doctor, new intro. You didn't have anything to compare it to.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I actually really enjoyed the Doctor Who. I watched the first couple episodes of The Acolyte, and I'm actually enjoying it. So save your hate. I don't care.
Right?
It has the same problems of every Star Trek or every Star Wars franchise, even the movies. There's wooden performances. There's great performances. You got to take the wood with the good.
You take the good, you take the bad. You take them both.
There you have Star Wars.
The Acolyte. The Acolyte.
And then I found a show on Max called Ren Fair, which for those of you who don't know me, I worked for 17 years at the Renaissance festivals, primarily Carolina and Arizona. I saw the thumbnail for this and I was like, that cannot be King George from TRF. That can't be, but it is. The show's about the Texas Renaissance Festival. I thought George died like a decade ago.
Someone was paying attention to the blog.
No, I haven't done Texas in over 20 years. So I did 2 seasons at TRF.
I posted it before I left, so I thought.
Debbie only did one city in Texas.
Carol, the whole state.
That's right, man.
We were Billy and I were frantically coming up with the joke for it, and Terry just smokes us.
Rattling out the park, yeah.
Nicely done.
Go big or go home.
And everything is bigger down there.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the first 2 episodes and
It went to her basement in the Alamo. Okay, sorry, I'm done.
It's a cringe fest. Technically, it's supposed to be about George passing the torch to whoever, because for those of you who don't know, King George, that is what he's called, owns the Texas Renaissance Festival and the town that the Texas Renaissance Festival sits on. He created
made
the town.
himself king. I love it. I love it.
And he's 85 years old now, and he needs to pass the torch. And it's kind of like, who will take over the Texas Renaissance Festival? And will George
they joust
find
for it?
No, that would be interesting. No, and then it's just him going on sugar daddy websites looking for a girlfriend as well. It's really cringy. If they had done an actual series about the Renaissance Festival, it would have been interesting. But I'm kind of disappointed that TRF agreed to this, and I probably won't continue just because it's very cringy. And that was my geeky sweep.
Terry, you want to finish up?
Is she still there?
You want to try it again? Hello?
Here, I think. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, so we talked about Doctor Who a little bit. I mean, Rogue was worth it for them to just like completely set the Doctor up as LGBT, right? Like, you know, he definitely had a moment with Groff.
What gave that away?
But I mean like a serious moment, like, okay. But I mean, he's had some flirtations with Ruby too and other women, you know, so I mean he's bi, and that's great. Or, you know, I just there was a little bit of flirtation on like Captain Jack's side. So do you think like the doctor's sexuality changes somewhat as she regenerates?
I would assume so.
I mean, I could see different variations having different degrees of, you know, interests.
Well, some of them
don't really know what. I mean, this is we're talking about an alien here.
Yeah.
Plus, I did
Very
notice
true.
that Rogue is very similar to River. Are we going to get a Doctor's husband episode?
I'd be okay with that. I would be okay with that. But yeah, just the whole idea of them cosplaying, like by putting us on, kind of thing, was like, okay. And then I was a little surprised that they just straight up were like, "This is Bridgerton," like by name.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought you would say, you know, just that time period or allude to it. I was not expecting them. You know, I mean, there's plenty of like romance novels set in that era, so it's not unique to Bridgerton. There's plenty of other stories in that era. Anyway, but
Bridgerton's the
I
best.
just thought that was great. Is it though?
No, it's not.
No, it's not. But and yeah, I think I came back. My audio came back as you were saying the end part of House of the Dragon, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not really connecting with this series. I think the time jump from the first season like messed with me. I wasn't expecting it, and then so it was like all of a sudden I was supposed to care about these characters, but I cared about the other characters, you know. So like, I don't know. I mean, it's not that I don't like it, but also Matt Smith as a Targaryen is kind of weird to me. I guess it's just, I just have like hangups with the show. Now, I mean, every single moment the dragons are on screen is a delight and a joy. So just, you know, that is the thing. But I don't know.
I think one of the problems of this show is that it's a prequel. So I know what happens to all these characters, and I know they're all going to die horribly.
Right.
But
well, you know, they were also in a George R.R. Martin story, so that's going to happen.
But that book is not a novel.
Right.
It's just like listing the history of Westeros. So you're dealing with a couple chapters of a history book rather than a narrative. They're having to add a bunch of stuff, and I think
and they've never done that with his work before. Hey,
I know. It's better than season 8, and I'll continue watching, but yeah.
Oh yeah, there's no way that I don't watch every episode of the show or anything related to this universe. But yeah, it's just I'm just having a harder time connecting with this one. Still good.
Did anyone
it's just...
see pictures of the dragon they put on the Empire State Building?
I did, yeah. That's pretty cool. They did like a big inflatable dragon on the Empire State Building. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Huge Targaryen and Hightower banners all over New York as well.
I'm just cool that, like viral marketing. Yeah, right.
I'm just picturing it's made up of a bunch of wacky inflatable tube men just all duct taped together.
The flames coming out of its mouth is the wacky inflatable tube guys.
Or it's just one of those T-Rex costumes, but they painted it green so it's more dragony.
Oh my God, the ones where you can sort of see out of the chest of it.
Yeah.
Our daughter MJ has one of those where she's an Among Us crewmate, but it's one of those inflatable costumes, and she runs around with it. It's great.
My favorite thing is watching videos of people in those that fall over, just because the weird way that
kinda
the
bounce.
the weight shifts in it, and then all of a sudden it's almost cartoonish, where they just kind of they like freeze for a moment as the person inside follows before the rest of the body
Right,
goes
right,
with,
right.
and then it lands. Love it.
And when people are trying to run fast
Oh
in
my
those, it's
god. Yes,
crazy, crazy.
they look like a little kid in like a giant snow costume with their little waddle
I can't put my arms down.
and their head flopping. Love it.
Mhm.
Caught back. Yeah, great.
Yeah. Well, speaking of like the Doctor Who episode with Bridgerton, I have watched 2 episodes of the second half of this third season. Yeah, that's I had to stop and think about that. And I'm not enjoying it as much as I did the first part of the third season. I don't know, maybe I'm just in a bad mood and I just don't want to enjoy any of my shows. But I don't like it when smart people do stupid things. And I guess smart people do stupid things all the time. And especially since even though the actors are not like teenagers or young adults, they're kind of supposed to be, right? So, and teenagers and young adults do a lot of stupid stuff. So, I mean, I guess that makes sense, but it's just sometimes they do stuff and it's just so stupid and it's like so contrived the drama. But I mean, it's Bridgerton, so I mean, what am I expecting, right?
Well,
But
we did get some representation from the Perfect Breast community, so that was nice.
that is true. That is true. Yeah, and there was lots of nudity in that episode.
Oh yeah,
hmm
definitely seen that.
I was going to say you didn't even have to see the episode to see it. So,
Nope.
yeah. So, but I liked your answer. That was a reference to the interviewer who
You were
had asked
so
her, trying to fat
brave.
shame her.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well, I think
So,
I don't think he was trying to whoever the interviewer was. I don't think they were trying to fat shame. I think they were trying to be nice, but in the worst
right.
way
Well,
possible.
Right.
I think they were referencing an opinion piece that showed up in a British tabloid, where the writer was like, "This series of Bridgerton is really beautiful, except for."
Oh well, then that
because
person's
Oh.
that
Yeah,
person's a knob.
and she fat shamed her in
Okay.
the opinion piece.
And so the interviewer was like, "Hey,
Was
you were
referencing
being
that.
so brave in doing that, but
Yeah.
like that over
Right.
condescending."
Yeah.
Yeah.
How good for you.
Yeah. Exactly. You're
Like trying
so
to stir the
brave.
pot, but keep themselves out of it. Like, can you believe she said that about you? Right? Like that kind of. We all know that girl, but yeah.
Yeah,
So,
they
I'm
look pretty good.
hoping that
Yeah,
it
good
wraps
job.
up good.
And seriously, go to an art museum. She is the
Yeah.
perfect body shape for that time period.
Very Zaftig.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just now it's getting awkward and weird and like even Collins 180 where it was like all of a sudden he didn't see her at all and then all of a sudden he's in love with her. It was just I mean, I don't know. It was just weird. They didn't have enough of those like almost moments. And that's what's hot to me is those almost moments. Is that like will they, won't they, like those almost kisses that get interrupted, right? Like all of that kind of stuff. There just wasn't enough like build up for them, but whatever. It's fine. Let's see. Totally opposite, like could not be more different show. We watched Shoresy, and this is in the Letterkenny universe. You guys know this show, this hockey show. Oh my gosh, this show is so crass, but it like the crassest things that you've ever heard. Like the things that they say to each other is just ridiculous, like hockey talk. Wow, but then it also has heart. Like it also has Shoresy's a pretty good boyfriend, and like or just in general, he's a really dedicated athlete. He's the first one at the rink every day. He's the last one to leave. He gives his all every single. I mean, he's admirable in some ways, and also a complete idiot and a jerk in other ways. So it's just kind of, it's an interesting character. The duality of how people can be. So, but it's also just like raunchy and funny and silly.
Well, the reason why it works is the same reason why Bill and Ted work and are never annoying is because it's very smartly written dumb shit.
Yes.
And that's the key thing. Even the raunchy, nasty stuff from Shorzy and Letterkenny, it is so
always clever.
cleverly written that it
Right.
elevates it out of the context and the terms that they use, and it elevates it into art.
It's like they buy some cred with their, especially when they do those back and forths where they'll go through like the alphabet, or they'll do like the and I know not all of that is on the spot or whatever, but they have some, and there's some of the references they make are very intellectual references. It's just, and then they'll also just go on a diatribe about like, dicks. So it's just, you never know what you're going to get with that show. Every time I have a drumstick ice cream cone, I think of Shorzy, and I'm like, yep, I got the game stick today. I had a good day. And a good day. And it's so quotable. I think it's that and Letterkenny that it's like you just can't help but, pitter patter, let's get at her. And like some of the, just even Shorzy, it was like somebody said to somebody else, I was at like work or something, so I couldn't quote it. And somebody said, "Are you ready?" And I was like, "Yep, because you're going." And I didn't say it.
And you smacked him on the butt.
Loud. Right. I was like, okay, no one else is going to get that reference. I have to keep that to myself. But
freaking embarrassing.
So inappropriate. Right. So inappropriate. I did put somebody, a new person had joined our team, and they were saying one of their hobbies is watching hockey. So I did put like a GIF of just like Jonesy and Riley just fist bumping, but that was it. Like they're in their hockey gear.
Nice.
Right. So it's just so that way if they know the show, then they know it. If they don't know the show, then it's just these are just some hockey bros. Will Snipe Sally. Yeah. And then let's see. Interview with the Vampire.
Here you go.
Interview with the Vampire. Okay, yeah, we're wow, this show, it's so campy, and it's so like Lestat, it's so over the top. Armand, it's so over the top, but it is so delightful too. Just the way that they do the relationships of the people and the manipulation of each other. These people are, talk about playing the long game, right? I mean, they are just to do whatever they need to do. They will sell each other out, and Lestat's about to come back, and like, I mean, and I've read the books, but that's the thing. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not the kind of person who likes to have read the book right before watching the adaptation, right? I did that once for one of the Harry Potter movies. I had finished reading it like literally in line, like for the movie. But it kind of ruined it for me a little bit because I spent the whole movie going, "Oh, that was different. Oh, that was different." You didn't do that. It was too close. Right?
Rookie mistake.
Right. I don't have the greatest memory, so I have to space it out again. But I'm watching this and I'm like, oh, wait, what happens to Claudia again? And then all of a sudden I remembered. And I don't know if they'll do it exactly like how they did it in the book, because that's the beauty of an adaptation. You never know. But I'm like, ooh, if they stick to what's going on in the book, this is about to get really, messed up. So it's just kind of that interesting dynamic. Like when Chooch and Viv and them, you remember they had a Beyond the Wall Game of Thrones podcast for a while. And a couple of them had read the books and Chooch had not, so that they had that other perspective of like coming in cold. And I think if you were coming in cold to the show, it'd be interesting to know what you think about it, because it is definitely an interesting modern adaptation of the show. Plus, I had one of those moments, those moments when you're watching a show and you know that actor from something, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a guest star in there, and he's older, and I'm like, I know you from something that's like 20 years ago or whatever. That's me making myself feel old, but I'm like, I know you as a young actor. I think his name was like Jared Knight or Jim Knight or something, but he was in Weeds. Do you remember that show, Weeds? Mm-hmm. It had that theme song, all the houses made of ticky-tacky, and it was about like when legalization was just starting or whatever. No, before that, way before that.
I'm still completely stunned that she, for the second time now, has gone to Weeds, where she knows this guy from, because she knows him from something else entirely, and I'm stunned she hasn't brought it up yet.
Well, I can't remember what was that from?
Jack and Jill.
Oh, right.
He was Jack and Jill. He was neither Jack.
No, it was a TV show that I watched when.
Yeah, no, I thought they were talking about the Adam Sandler movie.
No, we'd never talk about that. Never, ever.
No,
that's what I was surprised.
It was a TV show.
It was a TV show
when I first started dating.
Jacqueline starts dating Jillian, they're Jack and Jill.
Oh.
Well, he's Jillian and she's
Witty.
Jacqueline, Jack and Jill. Yeah. And it was Amanda Pete, I think.
Pete.
And I don't remember the guy.
I remember what he looks like, but I don't remember his
Yeah,
name.
he was cute.
He was cute.
Yeah. And so, yeah, we used to watch that together when we were first dating. But yes, you're right. I knew him from that. But that's like, so, oh my goodness. So that's like 22 years ago. 23
No,
years
dear.
ago.
No, dear. That would be 24 years ago.
Oh, yeah, when we first started dating.
Because
Yeah,
it would be 2000. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Okay.
But he's an interview vampire, yes.
Yes. And I spent like, the ADHD brain, right? Because you're watching the show and you're enjoying the show, but you can't stop thinking about what you know the person from. So then you have to go look it up on your phone on like IMDb. But here's the thing, he's just like a guest star in the show. So he wasn't listed in like most of the credits or anything. So I had to like Google who is playing this character like in the show and like dig. I think it was Wikipedia somewhere where I finally found it. So I really had to like, this was not readily available information, y'all. I had to find it, but I did because I'm a detective when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And so when I found him, I showed the phone to Flynn. I was like, "Oh, I'm not on camera." I like thrust the phone in his face. I was like, "This guy." So anyway, but yeah, that show is like just when you think you know what's going to happen, you just do not. That is the truth.
Yeah. Interview Vampire is great. It is just so good.
We talked about Acolyte a little bit. I like it a lot. I like the whole duality thing that they did with twins. They not only did they find like really good actresses to play the older twins, they had to basically probably cast for all four of those girls at a time, right? You're looking for, unless any one of them was done with CGI, I don't know. I'm assuming that they cast twins, like light-skinned twins, right, of a 12 to 13-year-old age, and then like girls of the, right? Anyway, whatever. I'm just saying they all did a good job of acting in that. And I thought that, that whole like, I'm not just you, I'm my own person kind of thing, interesting dynamic with them. Because sometimes twins are very much like that. And sometimes twins are very much like, both of them lean in on the fact that twin is like the main part of their identity. Sherry and Terry from like The Simpsons would be like the extreme version of that, right? Yeah. Anyway, I'm rambling.
You do realize that the that May is it's the same actress.
Yes, same actress.
I thought it was twins.
Nope.
The younger versions maybe.
It should have been twins.
Wait till I show you this this old Bette Midler movie with Lily Tomlin.
Okay, well now I need to find out.
It's gonna blow your mind.
If they're twins. If anybody knows, put it in the chat. But I'm just going to say that's been my geeky week while I go figure out if the younger kids are twins.
Well, the one that played May played Rue in Hunger Games.
Oh, that's right. I knew that I've seen her somewhere. She could have had a twin. I wish it had been twins. That's fine.
No, she died in the Hunger Games.
Yeah, Jack Quaid killed her, didn't she? Didn't he?
Yeah.
Donald Sutherland.
Yeah, her
Damn
sister.
it, Donald Sutherland.
I know.
That's right. Donald Sutherland passed.
Yeah, Donald. I mean, that's a bummer because like he's been in so many great things and so many great roles. But of course, for me, I mean, he's the original Hawkeye. In the original MASH movie.
Yes,
but he's one of those cats that he'll show up in various things and just be like, "This may be a crap movie, but these are going to be great scenes." Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, so. My Geeky Week have been playing more Fallout 76, enjoying the hell out of that. I fought a sheep squatch.
What is that?
Well,
you said it so proudly. What is that?
It's basically a sheep version of a Sasquatch. Yep. It's big and it's got a sheep head.
Work through the word. Yeah, it's right there.
Yep.
It's right there.
Is it an alive thing? A creature?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
If it wasn't, it would be pretty boring.
Does it live at your house?
No. It's in Fallout. No. It's in
the game.
I missed that part. Sorry.
You know what's really going to mess you up? The sheep squatch has a twin, right? And But also watched Hitman, which I think debuted shortly after, I think the weekend after we did the last show. It stars and was written by Glenn Powell,
Okay.
Chad Radwell.
Sorry, see, you said Hitman, not the Hitman.
Correct.
You said Hitman. I'm like, you did another goddamn Hitman? What are you talking about?
No. And it was directed and also co-wrote by Richard Linklater.
And that's another reason I want to see this.
It's really freaking good. Like, holy cow, charming. And it is a positive dark comedy. Most dark comedies, they tend to be just either like dark, gritty, or really, coming from a negative place or whatnot. This one isn't, but it's a dark comedy. And there were several times just laugh out loud. So good. And I am so good that Chad Radwell is, making good, because he was so damn good in Scream Queens. And I mean, everything he's been in is good. And I'm looking forward, like, I would not be looking forward to it except for he's in it. And that's Twisters, because I'm just like, right? He's going to knock it out of the park. That is fantastic casting. Because he's going to bring the same energy, just an updated version of it, Been watching Bob's Burgers a lot. And I feel like such a dingbat for sleeping on that show for so long, because it is so goddamn funny. Caught up on Doctor Who. I'm absolutely loving.
A great trivia team name.
What's that?
And they have a great trivia team name.
What is it? I don't recall it.
They're Date Nights of the Round Table.
That's right.
That's right. That's the thing. Is like, it's so full of just fun little things. Never mind, the specials of the day, which there's usually a handful of them in every episode. Plus the shop next door, the exterminator that comes in. Like,
I never skip the intro on Bob's Burgers.
Somewhere here in my multitude of stuff, there is the book they did of the burgers of the day that was in Loot Crate. I've got that here somewhere.
Here's the thing. I don't know if I still have it somewhere. I'm hoping that I kept it, but I really hope I did. Doctor Who, been enjoying the hell out of that. I really like what's been going on with the new Doctor and everything. By the way, in chat they mentioned the sexuality as being fluid as the identity. I think that what it could also be, I think obviously it's going to be fluid because he's a doctor, but we figure that most aliens and whatnot tend to be more evolved and are not pinned to specific things like that. But also, doesn't every time he regenerates, he gets a new tongue? So, flavors are different. He likes different foods and stuff like that. Or she. Wouldn't other things regenerate and may enjoy different things? So, but I think more importantly, it's space. It doesn't really matter. And of course, the Acolyte, which I was worried about going in on. And I love the idea that they're doing, where back then, 100 years before Battle of Yavin, that basically the Jedi were all powerful. They were all over the place. They were kind of in charge of everything. And so without any sort of checks and balances, they figured everything that they were doing was right, not realizing that a lot of the stuff they were doing wasn't.
Right.
And that's one of the things that, we see it a lot in celebrity, fame, etc. That what will happen is they will assume that everything they think of, because nobody is telling them no, that it must be right. We also see it a lot, unfortunately, now in the world with comedians. Some of these comedians who have always been very funny, won awards for, their jokes and stuff like that. They're lauded all over the world, beloved by millions. So they must think that everything they say is funny, but sometimes it's not. And they can't quite get a grip on that. Is one of the reasons. Basically, we're seeing that a lot with Chappelle, with Jerry Seinfeld, stuff like that. With Louis C. Yeah, where it's just they're so used to everything coming out is funny, and whatever their take on something is funny, but they may not realize it's outdated, and so then they have to actually confront the fact that maybe I am not as good as I thought or whatever. So I think that is what we're seeing with the Jedi. And I am absolutely digging this show, and especially with the focus on them being basically the bad guys. So that has been my Geeky Week.
Wow. Okay, then. So, of course, I've been spending a crazy amount of time with Star Wars Jedi Survivor because, oh Lord, now, you've got a bigger game with side missions and stuff. So, oh, yeah. All kinds of things. So,
What's the coolest move that you currently have unlocked?
So currently, the Jedi, the lightsaber that I have that you have not seen is somewhat similar to Kylo Ren, where I have a crossguard on it, and and fighting in that stance with that saber, the damage I do to people is ridiculous. That has some really good lunging, stripping of big, huge, powerful hits, and then some quick moves, and you can just mess up people like mad with that. It's really cool.
Friend of the show, T.
Cool when you,
Morris, has been playing that a lot on his stream, and I've been watching some of the stuff, and that game looks gorgeous.
Oh, dude, it is so good. I've also been playing a bit of, wait for it, Star Wars Hunters, which came out free on almost every major platform that you could possibly get. This is a 4v4 arena game.
Yeah.
Set in a, Star Wars universe, kind of an over-the-top thing, because you've got some weird characters. You've got a stormtrooper, you've got a Wookiee, you've got this really badass sort of bounty hunter lady. You have 2 Jawas in a trench coat.
Wow.
Named Utuni, who work together. That's a character you can play, is the 2 Jawas in a trench coat. So if you've ever played a 4-on-4 kind of arena thing, you know exactly what you're getting, but this time it's modeled after Star Wars. I think the balance on it is better than a lot of 4v4 games that are out there. And it's no Jedi Survivor, but I've picked it up a couple times and gone back to it and been like, you know what? Yeah, let's go do another battle and shoot those stupid damn Jawas, those stupid son of bitches. I've read more. I don't know how many issues this is actually going to be, but the JLA Godzilla Kong thing, that's still going on, man. I don't know how many issues this is going to be, but that's still going on. Oh, and as it turns out, wait for it, this is going to be a big shock to you. Superman's not actually dead. Go figure. What? No.
How many not died now?
Didn't see that coming.
I'm glad that they're doing an original story.
Right. There's also 2 more issues out of Batman Dylan Dog, where you find out now what the Joker's big plan is to try to bring back to life a horrible serial killer who had some interesting ideas on what the soul was. And basically the Joker wants to go highbrow with a very, very lowbrow individual. And it was really cute. I forgot to mention this the first time. In this, the Joker was using Smilex in this particular comic. So that's kind of nice. That's kind of neat. So I watched the show Eric on Netflix.
It's on my TBR.
What?
That's on my to be watched TBR. That's my reading.
So Brandino Cumberbund stars as this guy who's basically sort of a Jim Henson, if you will. He's got this kid show. There's puppets. He's very famous for all of this.
This is one that I was like, oh no, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah, this is the one you're not gonna watch, and it was crazy. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So yeah, but apparently he's kind of an asshole. So him and his wife are fighting, and their kid gets to hear all this. And him and his wife, they're not having a very good relationship at all, and it's just not that fantastic. And then one morning, she asks him to walk the kid to school. He's like, "Oh, it's just a couple blocks. He can do it." And the
Are you
kid
going to spoil it for Carol because she's going to watch the show, or no?
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay, I also watch Nightmare and Daydreams.
No, go ahead. No, Nightmare and don't. Okay, you can go ahead with Eric.
It's the first fucking episode. It's the plot of the episode. I think she
okay.
already knows what the show is about at this point.
Okay,
But this one particular day where he does not walk his kid to school, his kid never makes it to school because his kid is now missing. And so now the breakdown that happens within the family, and
now I definitely do not want to watch that show. So.
no, of course not, because it involves actual people dealing with things. And Eric is the name of a puppet that his kid designed that he sort of laughed off. He was like, no, we're not going to use this. Who now he wants to bring into his show because he believes if he can get Eric on TV, his kid will see it and come home. By the way, at the end of the first episode, Eric shows up and starts talking to our main character. So Benedict Cumberbatch and Eric have conversations. He's the only one that can see it, and apparently, as you learn, he's had problems like that in the past. So,
Like Wilfred, with more kidnapping.
Wilfred, more kidnapping, and it's not quite as funny. So there's that. I've watched Nightmare. I've not all of it. I've seen 3 episodes of Nightmares and Daydreams. Who's the guy? What's his name? Joe. I forget his name. He's a very well respected Indonesian filmmaker. This is a TV show from Indonesia that I'm watching.
Interesting.
All of the episodes are set in Jakarta. So the first 2 episodes specifically, I will say your average American might not find a way to lock onto these 2 because there are some cultural things about Indonesia that I think some folks are not going to have an easy time adapting to. But the third episode involves a writer who just wrote her new book that apparently is not bringing people in the way her first book that she didn't really like that she wrote, but just made so much money. And, you know, the guy, her publisher wants her to write a sequel, and she's going to kind of have to do it because her second book is really not catching on with people at all. And she even makes this little joke about how with the first book, how one night, you know, she'd been drinking and she woke up and, wow, there's all these pages. I don't even remember writing all this stuff. And that's where our Nightmare and Daydream comes in for this episode, is because when she starts writing the sequel to this book, we get to see that, yes, her eyes roll into the back of her head, and somebody else is writing this book. And then she starts seeing what this somebody else's life is actually like. That particular episode, if you can get past the first 2 weird American people, that third episode I think is going to snag you pretty well. It's going to snag you quite decently. So if there's anything else, I have forgotten about it, so that just means we have to push this button.
The wonderful Billy Flynn looks at what Chad and Abby are up to now. If you know what TV show they're on this week, you could win yourself a prize. It's your Further Adventures of Chad and Abby update. Chad has moved the family from New York so he can just run this club he bought, and boy, does he want to fire that stupid man Stefan, but it's a sitcom, so you need the odd couple thing. Stefan falls for Abby's friend that's a model from overseas, and Chad's got to tell Stefan that not only is his prize-winning horse dead, oh my God, Chad was writing it when it happened, hilarity. Stefan turns the club into a slice of the Big Apple when Chad and Abby cancel their trip to New York for their wedding anniversary. Chad knows nobody is perfect, so he's not being a Groucho. Stefan says that we should open a second club on the North Dallas 40, and Abby wishes Mr. Belvedere was here to help the whole damn thing out. These are the hijinks of Alan Gable, Jerry and Kent, Merriweather and Duke. Hashtag Chabby forever.
The mail's in.
Why, yes. Greetings, GRD crew. A group of orphans led by a thief? Sounds like Oliver Twist. But wait! There wasn't a series about Oliver Twist that involved science magic. Vessel Diod, barge tandem, boat duet like a ship sequel, maybe? Were Chad and Abby lost on Arc 2? Well, yes. Also, for the official record, I did not employ AI for my previous guess until I had figured out the answer myself. And I didn't use AI on this one either. But I guess those words only have as much weight as someone else gives them. Anyway, I've got to get back to work. Cheers. That is from J. Radimus Rex, who had never heard that name be used before. So, yes. Last time Chad and Abby were on Arc 2, which is apparently not as much of a forgotten show as I thought it was, because quite a few people knew what that was. So kudos to everybody. You're all in the bucket.
Good job.
And we'll see who's going to win the next time we get together to draw things, which we'll have to have a conversation about, because I'm not sure if anyone's looked at this. But in the meantime, we have to take a small little moment, and then we'll be back, because that's simply how the whole thing works. Fair? Fair.
Hi, I'm Terry J. Alman, host of Video Fuzzy, a media-centric nostalgia bomb currently working through thousands of DVD transfers from VHS tapes of television you may remember fondly, or not, as well as current recordings, cross-connections, and comments along the way. Find my blog at videofuzzy.blogspot.com, and my Video Fuzzy podcast wherever you get your podcasts. For Video Fuzzy, I'm Terry J. Alman. Happy viewing. It might be amazing, it might just be sketchy, and we'll find out together on Video Fuzzy.
Hey, this is Dave Foley, and you're listening to Geek Radio Daily.
Get one.
Dave Foley's never lied to you. So there you go.
Never.
It's exactly how it works.
I'm not wearing any pants. Film at 11.
Geek News!
Just taking a look at the world from a geeky point of view.
Hold on to your hats, folks. A Spaceballs sequel is in development at Amazon MGM Studios. Josh Gad is set to star and will produce alongside Mr. Mel Brooks. Josh Greenbaum will direct the film from a screenplay by Benji Sammet, Dan Hernandez, and Josh Gad. While Kevin Salter will executive produce, the project is in early stages and plot details are obviously being kept under wraps. Although I think it's actually called Spaceballs 2, I'll believe it's happening once I see the final credits roll. Writing duo Sammet and Hernandez, best known for the work as screenwriters for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, Pokemon Detective Pikachu, Addams Family 2, and the upcoming Disney Plus Lucasfilm special, Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy. And of course, the original 87 film starred Bill Pullman, John Candy, Daphne Zuniga, and Rick Moranis, as well as, of course, Mel Brooks. Would have been very different as as Garth Brooks. I believe Chris Gaines was his stunt double in that. The space opera is a parody of both the Star Wars franchise and other popular. It wasn't a parody.
Think of what Mel Brooks's Chris Gaines would look like.
That's all about merchandising. Josh Gad, of course, is best known for his work on Broadway in The Book of Mormon and as the voice of lovable, or annoying, depends on who you ask, Snowman Olaf in the Frozen franchise, ruining Hey, You Want to Build a Snowman. He's also next set to take his directorial debut with a Chris Farley biopic starring Paul Walter Hauser, which should be amazing. Paul Walter Hauser, you've seen him in a lot of stuff. Of course, we've seen him most recently as Stingray in Cobra Kai. But he's also been in a lot of, good award-winning type stuff, not just the fun, good Cobra Kai. By the way, Paul Walter Hauser also recently starred alongside his Book of Mormon Josh Gad recently starred alongside his Book of Mormon co-star Andrew Rannells in Gutenberg the Musical that was on Broadway.
Well, Steve Gutenberg doesn't give enough love. So.
Well, that's true. And especially when all the contributions he made to written literature, what with his printing press and whatnot. Personally, I'm looking forward to hearing more about the casting, which characters are coming back, but please, for the love of God, whatever we need to do, I don't care how much money or how many bodyguards we need to put around him. We need Rick Moranis back.
Yeah. But, if they can get Michael Winslow, that'll help.
He might be too busy.
That's fine.
Actually, the last thing that I saw him do was, I think it was like a 45-minute video on YouTube, him making the sounds of various typewriters.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude.
It was
if you can do it, do it. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's a classic example of just because you can.
Because Rick Moranis
you should.
Rick Moranis' kids have grown up now, right? He can go back.
Yeah, he can go back to
right?
Well,
as long as you're not mugging him on the street.
Yeah, he did for a little while, and then he got mugged, and then I think like a few years later, somebody randomly walked up to him and punched him.
Yeah. Leave Rick Moranis alone, goddammit.
Yes.
He's a national treasure. He is.
Not ours, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go next because I also have some fabulous news, sweetie darlings.
Okay.
In a brand new retrospective documentary, British comedy channel Gold will take a reflective look back at Absolutely Fabulous, with the stars of the series reuniting for the first time in 8 years. Yes, they actually did an ab-fab movie. I think I was one of the few people who actually saw the damn thing.
Yeah.
The one-off special, Absolutely Fabulous Inside Out, will see Jennifer Saunders, Adina Monsoon, Joanna Lumley, Patsy Stone, Julia, I always mispronounce her last name, Julia Sawala, Saffron, and Jane Horrocks, who played Bubbles, who is one of my favorite characters on the show. Take viewers on an exclusive trip down memory lane. The documentary will reveal how the show was made, pay tribute to late cast member Julia Whitfield, who played Mother, and celebrate the groundbreaking influence on female comedy. Yes, women can be funny. As well as Saunders Lumley Sawalha and Horrocks, the special episode will feature a host of absolutely fabulous stars and costume designers who will be joined by celebrity cameos and famous fans who share anecdotes, behind the scenes secrets, and an array of archival best bits. Saunders, creator and writer, said, I loved making AbFab, but can't remember a great deal. So much of this retrospective is a revelation to me. Thank you, Gold, for this kind and helpful program. Lumley added, it's a fabulous wander down memory lane by actresses who only have the faintest grip on reality. Really thrilling, and I hope vastly entertaining. I loved every second. The AbFab also somehow predicted the future. Now a whole nations of parents are drunken embarrassments to their sober and politically unenlightened Gen Z kids. So no word on when this will cross the pond to us, but I hope it is very soon because I would love to sit down with a bottle of vodka and some sticky toffee pudding and enjoy my AbFab again.
He's so
Yes.
lovely. Yes.
Well, I'm going to have to do this with my video off because it was getting a little glitchy again, but hopefully it will make it through. I don't know. Did the ladies, the AbFab ladies, like to drink their wine?
They like to drink their everything, yes.
Well, I mean, in my story is kind of interesting. The oldest wine ever has been found. They've broken the record. So it is in its original liquid form, reddish brown liquid. It was found in southern Spain in a funeral urn from the Roman Empire. So it was a Roman man. It did actually have like bones in the wine, like the wine was there with the dead body, but there was the liquid there. I mean, I guess, they say you can't take it with you, but I guess, maybe he was trying. Different cultures do different things, but it's really pretty cool. First of all, it's rare because the tomb was untouched. Like it wasn't very fancy, or there was some good archaeological discoveries from it, but for it to have been unsealed all this time was a pretty cool discovery in and of itself. And it was around the Andalusian town of Carmona. It's like a very common wine still in the area, this like local sherry that they make. So they're pretty sure that it was actually very similar to a wine that's still drank today, which is kind of cool. So the oldest one before this was like from AD 325, and this one is, as I said, like more than 2,000 years old. Where was it where it said how they did it? Because it's really cool in the article. They found the urn and they were like, oh, there's liquid in there. And they're like, well, let's see if we can figure out what it is. So, I mean, first they looked at the pH and it was 7.5. So it's only slightly non-basic. I almost said not acidic, but you know what I mean. And then
why would you not think it's body juices? Why would you think it's wine? Sorry.
It was brown and it was in the water.
It was in a decanter. Come on, dude.
It wouldn't be body juices after all this time.
No.
It'd be dusty bones.
I wouldn't think it was wine.
But they're like, well, let's test it and see what it is. So there were
Yep,
also
that's wine.
markers, chemical compounds that tell you what it is. They were looking for polyphenols, which are only found in wine. And there were 7 wine polyphenols. They were compared to the wines of the region and they matched. This was wine. And then they had to figure out, was it a white wine or a red wine? The lack of syringic acid, which forms when the main pigment in red wines decomposes, pointed clearly to a white wine, as did the local Roman mosaic showing people trampling white grapes. So there you go. Yeah, they found like this like super old wine. Here we go. The question that, of course, is probably on all of our minds is, did they taste it?
Oh, they did. Somebody stuck their finger in there and tasted it.
And hold on, I'm looking. It said the guy jokingly suggests that the lead archaeologists have a tiny little glass to celebrate the discovery. And they said, well, it's not toxic. I mean, we've done the microbiological analysis, but, it has been 2,000 years in contact with the cremated body of a dead Roman. So the liquid's a bit murky because of bone remains. I mean, I guess you could filter it and try it. I'd rather someone else try it first. That's the official answer. So no.
You want curses? That's how you get curses.
Right. Like you drink the bone wine that's been uncovered for 2,000 years. But
I'm pretty sure it's skunked by now.
So, Netflix is opening massive entertainment venues in 2 cities that they say will allow fans to immerse themselves in the worlds of their favorite shows. Which sounds good, but I ain't going to a Black Mirror store. No! That would be a nosedive. These experimental complexes, which they call Netflix houses, will include elaborate events, themed gift shops, and restaurants. They're repurposing empty retail space. The houses will occupy former department store locations at Dallas Galleria and King of Prussia Mall near Philadelphia. Both will span more than 100,000 square feet and are set to open in 2025, according to Netflix. So restaurants, so a Chef's Table restaurant? Huh? Will they have a Barney's Burgers? Huh? It's Netflix's TV tweak on a theme park, if you will. For fans of the Squid Games,
Oh no.
Netflix promises to recreate the program's Glass Bridge Challenge. Competitors walk on or jump across clear panels that shatter and drop them if they stand on the wrong one. Recreating dangerous stunts for the masses? Right you are, Ken. It's a risk move. Critics of the expansion note that attracting repeat business is going to be challenging. One of the keys to success will be to keep the offer refreshed so that it keeps people coming back to what's new, said Neil Saunders, managing director and retail analyst at Global Data that I've never heard of. Now, it's not been stated, is it going to be just like one property based on like one show, or are you talking like, sections of the store or different shows? Because if the restaurants are so good, will people actually want to come into it as opposed to ordering online, which is what they're just going to do with your bullshit anyway. But the one thing that we do know is, look, it's Netflix, so I'm sure that they're going to open, for like one season and then be canceled with no explanation whatsoever. GRD is licensed to complex music, non-commercial, non-derivative works, United States, no license. Come check us out on Facebook, on Twitter, some of the website at GRD.com.
And you know what? If there isn't one near you, there's probably an Alamo Draft House near you.
Ding, 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 ding.
Uh-huh.
And get there before Sony changes everything since they've now bought them. Hey, drop us a note, won't you please? It's podcast at geekradiodaily.com. Or, of course, a voicemail or text message could go to the magic numbers of
510 GRD Crew.
And we will talk about when we're going to see you next, because I know something. I do, but I'm not going to share it. Sorry.
We getting a puppy?
Nope.
See you around, super hunky.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
Funny, I detect no source of amusement.
Good night, suckers.
Oh my God, look at this place. It's like a museum of failure.
This time it wasn't my fault. The doc said all his clock's 25 minutes slow. Doc, am I to understand you're still hanging around with Dr. Emmett Brown McFly? Party slip for you, Miss Parker. And one for you, McFly. I believe that makes 4 in a row. Now, let me give you Nichols' worth of free advice, young man. This so-called Dr. Brown is dangerous. He's a real nutcase. You hang around with him, you're going to end up in big trouble. Oh, yes, sir. You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker. You remind me of your father when he went here. He was a slacker, too.
Slacker.
You go now, Mr. Strickland. I notice your band is on the roster for the dance auditions after school today. Why even bother, McFly? You don't have a chance. You're too much like your own man. No McFly ever amounted to anything in the history of Hill Valley. Yeah, well, history is going to change.
Huh? I didn't even have it.
Wait, you think he knew?
Well, considering Doc's office, basically has a little stick figure pantomime recreation of the end of the goddamn movie. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's entirely possible. And if you want to go with the very, very, very weird conspiracy theory that Doc is just the grown-up older Marty.
I don't buy that.
That's heavy.
That one's far too weird. That one's far too weird. Far too weird.